It all started with a joke. Imagine this. You're on the tennis court, the pressure is on, and you're battling one of the toughest players in the world. Then out of nowhere, an American journalist nicknames you the Crocodile. Fast forward a few years, and that same nickname turns into one of the most iconic luxury brands in history. Welcome to the fascinating journey of René Lacoste, the tennis legend who transformed a playful jab into the billion-dollar brand we know today. But how did it all begin? Born on July 2nd, 1904, in Paris, France, René Lacoste came from a well-off family. His parents, Jean-Marie Magdalene Larolet and Jean-Jules Lacoste, were part of the upper class, so young René had the freedom to explore his interests. Little did his family know that one of his passions would lead him to change the world of fashion forever. At just 15 years old, René fell in love with tennis. His passion for the sport was undeniable, but his father was skeptical. Jean-Jules Lacoste believed that his son was not quite as talented as the tennis greats of the time. Still, René persisted. After some initial resistance, his father gave him an ultimatum: become a world champion in 5 years, or give it up. It was an enormous challenge, but René was determined to prove him wrong. For the next 3 years, René trained relentlessly. In 1922, he entered his first major tournament, Wimbledon, but unfortunately, he was knocked out in the first round. It was a tough loss, especially with his father's harsh expectations weighing on him. But instead of giving up, René pushed harder, determined to prove himself. The following year, René competed in the U.S. National Championship, where he made it to the 4th round before losing to Cecil Campbell. Though disappointed, he kept training, steadily improving his game. By 1923, his dedication paid off when he was selected for the French Davis Cup team, joining forces with fellow players Jean Borotra, Jacques Brugnon, and Henri Cochet. Together, they formed the legendary Four Musketeers of tennis, a group that would dominate the sport. In 1925, René reached his first major final at Wimbledon, but he was defeated by another musketeer, Jean Borotra. Instead of getting discouraged, René used this defeat as fuel for even more intense training. The following year, he won the French championship title. By the next Wimbledon, he faced Borotra once again in the final, and this time, he emerged victorious. Finally, René had gained the respect of his father, but his journey was far from over. Unfortunately, he lost his French championship title the following year to Henri Cochet, but he didn't give up. Instead of competing in Wimbledon that year, René spent his time refining his game. In a September 1926, he won the U.S. National Championship, and by the end of the year, he was ranked as the #1 tennis player of 1926. Throughout his career, René was known for his innovative ideas. He even invented the tennis ball machine, which revolutionized training for the sport. But how did his rise in tennis lead to the creation of the Lacoste brand? René's unique playing style caught the attention of fans and journalists alike. Known for his agility and movement around the court, he earned the nickname the Crocodile. The story behind this name is as intriguing as the man himself. In 1926, the French Davis Cup team was facing off against the U.S. team. The Americans had Bill Tilden, an undefeated tennis sensation, as their star player. René was up against Tilden in the World Cup final, and the world watched as the two went head-to-head. In an incredible upset, René defeated Tilden in 4 sets, shocking the tennis world. American journalists covering the event were captivated by René's performance and his playing style, which they described as crocodilian. The name stuck, and soon René was affectionately known as the Crocodile. René embraced the nickname as it symbolized his relentless tenacity on the court. The nickname became even more meaningful when, in the same year, René's Davis Cup team captain promised him a crocodile skin suitcase if they won. René kept his word and led the team to victory, and soon after, a designer named Robert George embroidered a crocodile logo onto René's blazer. This became René's signature look, and he proudly wore the crocodile emblazoned blazer during his matches. Little did he know that this simple gesture would mark the beginning of a global fashion empire. In the years that followed, René's love for tennis led him to make a groundbreaking innovation in sportswear. As a tennis player, he had often found long-sleeve button-up shirts to be uncomfortable and restrictive. He wanted a more flexible, breathable alternative. In 1933, René teamed up with André Guillet, a knitwear manufacturer, to create the first tennis polo shirt. This was a game changer in the world of sports apparel. The new shirt, made of breathable cotton, featured a short-sleeve design and the iconic crocodile logo embroidered on the chest. It was a far cry from the stiff, formal tennis attire of the time, and it quickly gained popularity among tennis players. René wore the shirt in his matches, and soon it became a symbol of comfort and style on the court. In 1933, the brand was officially registered as La Société Chemise Lacoste, and René became the brand's first ambassador. While his shirts gained a cult following in the tennis world, it wasn't until the 1950s that Lacoste really began to make waves on the global fashion scene. In 1950, Lacoste partnered with the American company IZOD, and the IZOD Lacoste line was born. This partnership helped Lacoste expand its reach, and by the 1970s, the brand had firmly established itself in the United States. Lacoste's signature polo shirts, once limited to white, began to be produced in a variety of colors. The brand's popularity soared, and it became synonymous with preppy, casual luxury. Despite facing competition from brands like Le Tigre, Lacoste remained at the forefront of the sportswear market. René's legacy lived on as the brand continued to innovate and expand. Even after retiring from tennis in 1932, René remained involved in the world of sports, designing a groundbreaking steel tennis racket in the 1960s that was used by top players like Jimmy Connors. In the 1970s and 80s, the Lacoste brand faced challenges with its identity, especially in the US, where the brand was often referred to simply as Izod by teenagers. Despite this, Lacoste remained a powerhouse, and in 1993, the brand regained full control of its US operations. By the 2000s, Lacoste had reinvented itself as a luxury fashion brand, expanding into footwear, eyewear, watches, and more. The brand's e-commerce platform, launched in 2007, helped it reach a global audience. And by 2010, Lacoste was using high-profile celebrities, including tennis star Novak Djokovic, as brand ambassadors. Today, Lacoste is a global icon. The crocodile logo has become synonymous with casual elegance, and the brand is a favorite among fashion enthusiasts worldwide. René Lacoste's vision, dedication, and innovation have made Lacoste one of the most successful luxury brands in history. In addition to its fashion success, Lacoste has also made a positive impact on communities through the René Lacoste Foundation, which supports sports programs for children. The brand has come a long way from a joke on the tennis court to a global powerhouse worth billions. Have you ever worn a Lacoste polo? What does the crocodile symbol mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and check out more inspiring stories on our channel.